This is where I met my wife. At this very bench in a park behind Damai Secondary School, where a friend of ours introduced me to her because he liked her. I was 15 and attached then, but I remember thinking, I get it. Why didn't I see her in the past 2 years?
I would describe my secondary school life as some of the best years of my life.
Yeah, and it's probably some of my worst.
It didn't feel like it back then, but looking back, John was bullied quite a bit, and weirdly, by the group of people whom he called friends.
Like you.
Like, sorry.
So this is the fence that we will use the trees to climb over the barbed wire and land here.
Sorry, there's no we, There's no we.
We.
It's just you.
We.
I never escaped.
Not with you lah. Then there was one time, right, the barbed wire did go my pants.
Oh.
Then my white pants here, right, tear and rip all the way up So I just school, then I cannot go out cause my pants like that. Then I cannot go home now my parents will know, right?
Then?
So I just hide around and wait until after school, then I just go home.
Then but how you go home with that torn pants?
Go home
Take bus?
Take bus Then what?
Okay.
Take cab Oh my gosh, babe, this is the spot, babe. Remember this chair? I remember this seat behind me. It was where all the gangsters used to hang out. And I remember there was one time, right, did a bit of underage smoking back then in my time, right? This is the exact spot where there was a police car that drove past, right? Then out of fear, I took my phone and just threw on the floor.
Phone?
Yeah.
Why phone?
I thought I was holding cigarette.
Oh.
Yeah, then I just threw the phone on the floor. Then I realized I cannot be on the wrong side of law.
But you fight?
Fight civil ma.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
civil. Fight lose you know what I mean? So,
Long time ago.
long before your time, right? Before some of y'all were born, legit 19 years, right? I remembered thinking that there are things that I learned at home, good things that is socially not acceptable. For example, growing up, I learned to open door for my sister and my mum. Then I realized, actually in a social environment, at that age of like 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, right? It's not socially acceptable. The guys will just laugh at you. At least back then, during my time. Hopefully now times have changed. I would like to think time changed a bit. So last time is like, the moment you open the door for someone, right? Unless that person is like at least 20 years older than you, right? All the guys will be like, oh, you like her, like che. Then I would just crumble like I was just like, no, then I just get all blush, right? Like a Chinese boy that has zero self-esteem, right? There was also this particular memory I have, right? Last time in secondary school when we're doing PE, right? We all wear all the PE things inside, right? Then PE lesson, then we all start stripping, correct? It was such a thing, right? That when you take off your uniform already, right? They like to pull down each other's pants. Then to show your underwear, then they would just then you just laugh, then they each other.
Yeah.
But it's very all good one. And I remember there was this bunch of Malay boys in my class, right? That did it. But I always noticed, right? That two Malay guys, they push each other's pants, right? Then they will just then they laugh, right? Then the moment is over. Nobody brings it up again. It's just done. But then I have my fellow Chinese boyfriends, right? That they get hyper offended. He will just pull, right? Then my Chinese friend, right? He will just his whole face red. Then he angry, but
You kick.
you kick, then you cry. I think what sucks last time, right, as an adolescent boy, that when you get angry, you cry, right? I think it's the biggest form of of your body betraying you, right? And then you just sit down there and body you just cry.
Yeah.
Because of that whole hoo-ha, right? He ended up getting made fun of for that whole incident for months. It was that one moment that he learned that he didn't learn how to take a joke. He cannot thick skin that moment, right? And then there was this other incident. The teacher will ask, okay, do you all know this answer? And at least for me and my friends, right, we will be cocksure before we will raise up our hand to answer. The same group of Malay boys that pull each other pants on, right? They will just shout one answer, whatever they bloody think is right, whether or not they're trying to be funny. Then when they get it wrong, right, their own friend will just shout, bodo. Then they just laugh. Then finish. I remember that same Chinese friend that pants kena pull, right? And then he got the answer wrong. And then he kena the same. Bodo. But once again, his face turned red. He hyper embarrassed. The tears well in his eyes, right? They make fun of him for months again. And that was when I realized, cannot. The ability to learn how to laugh at yourself, the ability to learn how to take a joke, the ability to be who you are, the positive version of who you are, right, is extremely important because you are going to have weaknesses also. And you don't want to hide the good you have in your life and then only highlight the weaknesses you have in your life.
You mean at primary 5, primary 6, you start thinking about all these? You look at them and be like, how come one feel embarrassed, one feel like you can take it off and pass it off as a joke?
Yes, but I did nothing about it. I did nothing about it until secondary school when the open door thing happened to me.
Okay.
Then that one affects me. Like when I realized that when I opened door for y'all, right, y'all like. They talk about it for weeks to come. They're like, hey, great, because like I did this my whole life. I didn't know it was such a thing. You know, it's such a hit. It's so simple to do. I was short. I was fat. I'm not good looking, my results were shit. I need to take what I can at this moment, you know what I mean? I already naturally opened up for people, do I not now? Where it gets dangerous as a boys group, right? You are one of the boys, So you're like, wow, that teacher very pretty or really or unlike that other teacher which is not pretty. You know, like locker room talk. And the boys feel like, okay, all's good, we are boys. Until such time where if I behave a little bit differently, like when I begin to change and tell myself I want to be a better version or the best version of myself, right? When that happens, the net effect is that the girls or the people around us at that time happen to say, why can't you be more like him? He's such a gentleman. At least that was that one thing. I'm not saying that I'm more or less, okay? It's just that was what happened. I think that was what started it all. It was like but do you also know, right, that he's also checking out girls like the rest of us?
Trying to put you down.
Yeah, and I think that is what started it.
Yeah.
That yes, he was one of us. And then, how come now he like be different for girls? I think that's what started me being ostracized and a little bit bullied here and there in secondary school.
On the flip side, when he's experiencing all that, as a girl who is on the receiving end, I just thought that, hey, he's a nice boy, and once in a while, like when we hang out in the big groups, right, I know for sure that John will be the one that say that, hey, text me when you're home. Like, do you need me to walk with you? It's going to rain, you got umbrella. Like, he will do all these little things.
And at that time, I think I remember I went to church. So the culture there is like, y'all text us when y'all get home, because church is not school, it's not a government institution, right? And so when the church brings anybody out, or we make plans on our own, it's like, hey, go back, y'all text each other. Like, let everybody know we're okay, got buddy up system, which to me is what I thought, nice wah. Which is what I tried to do here, which I can also understand and appreciate why the boys think, oh, you're trying too hard to try and like, just to peacock for whichever girl you want. Because at that time, I got a girlfriend, so it's like, I was not trying to peacock. But I decided very intentionally that if that's a good side of me, if that's a positive attribute of me, I don't want to have to hide it. I don't want to have to suppress it. So without further ado, right, the eggshell theory. And it was formalized when I had a free elective in poly, right? That was when all these little thoughts, right, that started from primary 5, primary 6. And then I think about it a lot and I exercised it very well. And then it was formulated into a very nice PowerPoint deck, which I have in my laptop at home.
The eggshell theory. The art of pretending to be who you want to be until you eventually be.
So jumping in here because I think that I had brain fog on that day, I didn't set the context properly. So why this is important to me, right? It's not because I'm out here trying to make people be an imposter or pretend to be someone they're not. I think for many of us, there come a time where we look at the people around us, or even on TV, on screens, and we tell ourselves, wow, I wish I was like that. And that was what it is for me, you know? The ability to just raise out your hand, say the answer, and if you get it wrong, you laugh at yourself, and then you move on. Right? That person that, for example, if you knew a joke, you thought the joke was quite funny and apt for the occasion, you say it out loud. And then if people don't laugh, then you're like, not funny, then you just laugh at yourself. As opposed to, you whisper that joke to your friend and then your friend will take that joke, say it out, then that person everyone just like, wow, that guy is so funny. Then like, oh wow, that could have been me. And you knew deep down you couldn't have executed it because you're too afraid of how people might judge you. For example, when you go to a club, right? If you ever see me in a club, you would see that I'm sitting at the sofa. What's really going through my head, right? I'm watching my friends dance, right, in a very cramped, tight spaces where it's not enough space to bust out any moves anyway. They're just like kind of shaking, right? But they're shaking like they don't care. They just roll with it, Just, that person's so much fun. And I will look at it and I will wish that I am also. I will wish that I can. And a part of me feels like, okay, if there's ever a new group of friends, right, that I'm in this place with, right, and the music plays, right, they'll be like, oh my god, let's dance. Then I'm just gonna be like, oh my god, let's dance. Then I'm just gonna go and dance. Because at the end of the day, no one there's really dancing besides that little bit of movement in that cramped space in the Singapore club, right? And that's it. That new place, new environment, no one knows that I'm just a soft burrito egg. I'm just gonna go there, use that 5cm leeway I have, and then I'ma look like I'm dancing. This is basically it. What the eggshell theory was an entire journey of me giving myself permission to embody certain traits that I wish I had so that I could take advantage of more opportunities. And then just have the courage to pretend that I can, and then I just go for it. And then if I fail, I fail.
The reason I call it eggshell theory is because eggs are developed inside a hen in soft layers of membrane. They start off soft and eventually harden completely. People with no preconceived notion of an egg would touch it and conclude that it's just a smooth rock. And that's the process of change. Step 1. Who do you want to be? Choose the attributes you want to have. To be yourself doesn't make sense when you're still figuring out who you are. You get to choose who you want to be. No one's original and we're all an amalgamation of other people's traits.
I want to learn from my primary 6 Malay classmates where they can laugh at themselves. I want to be like my church friends, which are very gentlemanly. I want to be like my family, which taught me to just simply open door and be nice for people. I didn't know I was such a kid in secondary school, yo.
Step 2. Time and place. To simply change yourself overnight will freak your friends out. They'll think you're an imposter. If they call you out, it might set you back. I went through that. While I guess it worked out eventually, there are better opportunities. If possible, time your reinvention to when you're in a new place where people don't know you. New class, new friends, new workplace. Or if you haven't met old friends in a while. Once again, people with no preconceived notion of you won't know the new trait is a brittle egg. As far as they're concerned, you're a rock. It gets easier, your shell hardens.
And when you practice this enough, right, that becomes who you are. And I've learned to take this concept throughout the rest of my life in terms of being somebody's boss at 25 years old. You know, and pretending I had no semblance of what's going on how to lead. You pretend long enough, right? Then suddenly I look back today, I have 7 years experience of pretending to be a boss. Counts for something. That really is some real life experience that I never would have gotten the chance or opportunity to had I not day one pretend that I can.
Just by that, right, it also taught me a few lessons. Throughout our marriage, I think I've changed a few jobs. And every time I were to take up a new task or a new challenge, I will always be very doubtful of myself. Like, I don't know if I can rise up to the occasion to take up the role or not. But with what he's just said, right, he will always assure me and say that nobody knows what they're doing.
Nobody knows what's going on.
And I tried it once or twice and it really worked. So at the start, I was really scared. I may not have the experience to take up this role or this position.
Nobody does.
True enough, nobody really knows what's going on. I've been to a few organizations where the boss is just hoping that you will figure it out.
Yeah.
Because he also don't know. And going through that once or twice, right, it gave me the confidence that, hey, I really can do anything and everything.
Step 3. Learn, practice, and collect. Don't stop at the initial batch of trait upgrades. While learning new traits, you open yourself up to new communities, new friends, new opportunities. Level up. Appreciate new traits, pick them up, be an imposter, harden, level up, be. Do you think that you also have changed as a person?
Definitely. I think my biggest change is the perception of money. Back then, how I see money is like, what's mine is mine. If I had to buy you that meal, then why I work hard for our meal but you didn't have to?
Yeah.
I don't know why I have that mindset. Maybe it's because things were taken away from me and I just become a very closed up person.
Yeah.
Like even at home, right, I label my chocolate on it. Like nobody can eat it because I bought it. It was terrible.
And if somebody eat it?
I'll be very angry.
And if somebody asks you whether they can eat it?
I will share.
Okay.
Like I as long as you ask
So
me.
it's just territorial.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was very territorial, yes. The first few years of our dating, right? I remember you telling me things like, you saving that $1-2 is not gonna make you rich. If that's gonna make somebody else happy,
Yeah.
then why not spread the joy?
That $1-2 is a very small price to pay for someone else's happiness.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I still didn't get it. Because to me, it's like, then what about me? I want to be happy too. With that mindset growing up, right, I was very closed up with money.
So I remember, right, Pat used to be not calculative, but she is split the bill kind of person. You know, even if like 4 people go and eat, then we never eat a lot, right? Then the bill's like $28. Then I'm like, guys, I'll get it lah, you know? And it's not like I got a lot of money also lah, but it's just like, I mean, split, you give me $12, like, no point lah, you know? Especially like 2 couples go out, right? So it's split 2 ways, not 4 ways, right? Then Pat's like split lah, why don't split?
Yeah.
And she's not just very protective of like her money, she's very protective of my money.
Yes.
Or the lack of it lah. She's like why you mean no need to split? Why no need to take back? Why don't ask from them the amount? Then she will ask for me, which sometimes I'm very relieved she asks for me. But other times I'm like, but this couple dollars not gonna change my life, but it allows me to say like, hey, don't worry, I'll get it lah. Then you'll be like, oh my god, really? Thank you, no need lah. Then like, never mind. Like, and that's like $2 worth it.
I know.
But suddenly Pat's no longer that person.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what changed.
I think it's when I
You
felt...
make more money lah.
Yeah. I think it's when I felt more financially secured.
Yeah.
I realized that having all this money is no fun if I cannot share it with my friends and loved ones.
Yeah.
There will come a point of time where you're done buying all the shit that you want to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then what? Then what else? What more?
In fact, I was just drafting a social post that I'm gonna post next week. Yeah. About the fact that when you were hospitalized,
Oh.
that was what changed me.
Hmm.
When I realized, wow, I worked so hard. If you are gone, then for what?
For what? Oh,
For
for what? Yeah.
That was what. I have the picture, you know.
Oh.
I actually drafted it. I'll show you.
Aw.
I remember looking at this, then I'm thinking, wow, if this is the last picture and then you die already, right? Then it's like then work for what? Sorry, we try a new style a bit. Want to be a bit more reflective, don't want the camera in the face. I want us to think about life, which is the whole purpose of this vlog, to make us a little bit more reflective and purposeful in our relationship. So anyway, this is the picture. This is the picture that made me realize I need to change my life. Like, I cannot claim to work hard for you, but then you only get my leftover time. You know what I mean? So we hope you all enjoyed this episode where we do things a bit more differently. We kind of forgot the main purpose, besides creating a channel to document our adventures, is to have more reflective moments. So this is us trying that. Maybe it sucks if you all don't like it, or if you all like it, do let us know.
Yeah.
But if you all don't like it, we might still do. I don't know. But thanks for watching. If you've followed our journey so far, subscribe.
Please.
Help us.
Help.
Yeah, and let us know what you think.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.